It's great having everybody back on the block 1st of November. Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday. Let's get the show started. Let's look at the markets. Different tones for different markets, different sentiments. The Nigerian market sentiment is still on the upside. We added about 640 billion to the headline capitalization on Tuesday. The market stopped just at the doorsteps of 70,000, which would be a new high for the Nigerian market, bringing the country's year-to-date NGX Osha index to 35%. And that's a very big day after Monday's big jump as well. Earnings is in play across the Nigerian market. You got a few earnings also coming through from a number of markets within the Frontier Africa space. The BRVM, however, fell by 0.34%. We saw profit taking on the shares of Societe Generale SocGen shares was down about 7% on Tuesday. The shares of Orange Telecom was also down. That big telco listed on the regional exchange in Côte d'Ivoire. The Egyptian market fell very sharply, 3.78%. The Nairobi stock market still yet to get back its groove, now well below 190, trading around 88.56 for the all share, down by 30 basis points. The South African market was beaten by 0.31% at 69,653. Today, the country's finance minister, Enoch Godongwana, will be releasing the country's midterm budget. That will be formally presented to the parliament later today in Pretoria. That's a big economic news out of South Africa today, Africa's most advanced economy and the biggest financial market. Let's take it down. Look at the top stories from East Africa. President Ruto is scrambling to have a balanced fiscal budget for the new year. Of course, earlier this week, he inaugurated the smartphone facility owned by Safaricom, making the first of such mobile phone assembly plant in Kenya, East Africa's biggest economy. Then the budget, by the way, will be 5% up despite President Ruto's vow to cut spending. News out of Kenya says the president has been spending furiously within the first year in office, including salary increases for top government officials. The Kama, which is the capital markets, the CMA in Kenya is asking for more measures by the government, policy measures to curb the country's inflation, which is also a negative impact on the securities market and those who buy into the equity space. The IMF and Rwanda have reached a deal on a new $262 million credit facility, while the country will get about $106 million from EU as food insecurity spirals in the East African country. And Tanzania's CRDB Bank's Kijani bond says it's been able to raise 172 billion Tanzania shillings for sustainable funding within the Tanzanian economy. That's some good news, as it were. Let's take it all the way to West Africa with Nigeria's central bank saying that there's no plan to redenominate the country's currency, the Naira, by 2024. The country is grappling with several measures right now to try and stabilize the Naira and increase liquidity of foreign exchange. Today, the British International Investment, the BII, will mark the 75th anniversary of doing business in and with Nigeria, and we expect further announcements of investment in the country later today. We're looking to that for you here on Frontier Africa Reports. Standard Chartered of Ghana reporting 9 months net profit of 529 million Ghanaian cedis. And his Côte d'Ivoire's Brewers Libra says his first half 2023 earnings was strong, boosted by 7.9 billion CFA franc. Senegal, as well as the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, have signed the two deals worth about 65 billion CFA franc for the West African economy. That's Senegal, President Macky Sall's. Let's get on to the to Southern Africa. I mentioned earlier, the midterm budget today by Minister of Finance, Godongwana, to the Parliament will be on top of the issue. And of course, on that will be the troubled ESCOM reporting $1.27 billion in net loss. That's about 25 billion rand for its full year ended March 2023. In the meantime, Saudi Arabia is opening an e-visa system to South Africans, while Zimbabwe is extending the use of US dollar as a fiat currency alongside the Zimbabwean dollar for another 5 years. That will expected to close by the year 2030. President Emerson Mnangagwa says there will be no surrender of Zimbabwe's home currency to the American greenback. But the dollar will remain side by side with the Zimbabwean dollar at least for a couple more years. Botswana has granted state oil company the control of fuel imports into the country as it grapples with higher oil prices, which is denting a number of economies around the world, especially if you're a fuel importing economy. Global central banks are binging on gold reserves, up about 337 tons for the third quarter ended September. That was much bigger than 175 metric tons of gold, which was stockpiled in the second quarter. And those data came from the World Gold Council on Tuesday, saying this was far more than its forecast. Okay, so let's touch on with North Africa. Afreximbank yesterday concluded its Afro-Caribbean second summit in Guyana, Georgetown, where a number of deals were made, which include 50 million US dollars will be supporting the government of Botswana. A couple of these also will be to support the Cricket World Cup, which Barbados will be hosting for 2024 to repair those facilities. That comes to a few millions of dollars also on the table from Afreximbank, led by President of the board, Benedict Oraba. Egypt's foreign trade deficit trade was about $85.6 billion in the 9 months ended September 30th. Banks in Egypt have now been allowed to include their net interim profit in the calculation of the Tier 1 common equity, and that's coming from the financial authorities. China Development Bank says it's dishing out $956 million to Egypt's central bank to support the country. And Tunisia says it has paid 81% of its foreign debt. So that could put the President Sai's economy in line for next round of financing facility or funding for support by the International Monetary Fund. And Afreximbank signed $25 million loan for Barbados Cricket World Cup hosting for 2024. Keep an eye on that. That's going to be a big one for this Caribbean country. And those are your headlines this Wednesday. Is the start of November. Welcome to the new month, everyone, and I'll see you soon.